Islam,
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 Islamism.
Islamism. Got the gag. We got it back. Had to call them jokers up like, hey man, no, we need our intro back.
Praise
No,
Allah.
we joking, but praise Allah, praise Allah. We want to welcome everyone to the Moorish Sense Channel. Welcome if this is your first time viewing the Moorish Sense Channel. We are your hosts. Both of us are hosts of the Moorish Sense Channel. This is your brother Brendan Joyner Ill, Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple number 13, located in Baltimore, Maryland. That's 1055 North Milton Avenue. And to my right this evening, we have
Brother Valans Bey, Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, located at 1055 North Milton Avenue, Islamism.
Islam. Praise Allah. We're going to go through and begin the Moorish Sense Channel as we always do with the Moorish American prayer that was given to us by our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the prophet and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. She was
Islam.
not leading it.
Yes, I'm Ali. Islam.
Islam,
Islam.
Islam,
Islam.
Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
the Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
and my salvation
and my salvation
by night
by night
and by day.
and by day
Through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Islamism. Praise
Islamism.
Allah.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. We want to rise and give praises to Allah. Allah is the Father of the universe. We want to give honor to our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the prophet and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to also give honor to the prophet's forerunner, Brother Marcus Messiah Aurelius Garvey. I also want to give honor to all past and present leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, our officials at 1055 North Milton Avenue. I also want to give honor to specifically to our National Grand Sheikess T. Jones Bay. I want to give honors to our national officials once again and the officials at 1055 North Milton Avenue. I want to give honors to my wife, Deputy Sheikess Tamika Joyner Ill. I want to give honors to my children. I also want to give honors to all our viewers, our listeners, and everybody across the Moorish circuit, as well as in the Asiatic world. Islam.
Islamism.
Before we get into it, Sheik, because I know you wanted to
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing,
impress
Mo.
me. I want to
Praise
give a
Allah.
shout out, Mo. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I
that's
want to
right.
give a shout out, sincere shout out to all of the Moorish American bloggers, all the Moorish American vlog shows, all the Moorish American YouTube channels. And when I say Moorish American YouTube channels, I'm talking about specifically those that are teaching according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings. Those who are teaching our people that they're not Negroes, blacks, and colors, but also those that are teaching operational unity and unity in its truest sense. I want to give honor to those who aren't even on YouTube as well, but also have other programming as well. And the reason why I'm giving a shout out this evening is because guess what? None of us are in competition with anybody as far as
Yeah,
I'm concerned.
yeah.
This is about propagating the message and teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's right, Sheik Neil Baby shining. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. What we ultimately are trying to do, we want to make sure that the word gets out to our people about the truth about who they are. So we have, to be honest with you, we have no competition. Even though we know that friendly competition is a real thing,
Yeah.
but we're not trying to impede or impose on anyone. And also, guess what? Everybody has a different audience. What myself and Sheik Valans Bay may or may not be able to appeal to, you may be able to appeal to, and vice versa, and then vice. And on the flip side too, some individuals might like the duality and balance of it as well. So, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody doing that thing across, the Moorish circuit. Islam.
Yeah, Islam. Praise Allah. And that was much needed and well said, because what we don't do is soap opera stuff.
No,
That's
we don't.
we've grown past that. Somewhere I read, I think it's in the Holy Bible, it says, when I was a child, I did as a child, and when I became a man, and this is also for women, when you become a woman, you put away childish things and you do what is needed and is necessary, right?
That's right.
So when more sense, the reason, and we explain this plenty of times before, but I think we can't say it enough. When we're talking about sense, we're talking about making sense of what it is that we are doing or should be doing as Moorish Americans, right?
Uh,
And we're not trying, when we say making it make sense, we're not we're not making in the sense of forcing something to make sense.
Yeah, we
What
ain't
we're
cooking it up.
huh?
We're not cooking it up. We're not making
Yeah,
something.
yeah. No, not at all. And in the event that we make an error and you have the proof that we are in error, please provide us the information, or where we should be looking in
That's right.
order for us to stand corrected. Other than that, we do take constructive criticism, but let it be constructive. We
Right.
not we not for goofiness. Like we have no time for goofy. You see
No,
what
we
I'm
ain't
saying?
doing.
And
Right.
what I mean by that, things that tear people down, things that are counterproductive. We just really don't have time for that.
And we
So,
truly mean it, man.
huh?
And so we sincerely mean that. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
we
It's
we
our
we
business,
really we really mean that.
man. Yeah.
Also, when more sense, when like we were talking about in previous show, you could go back to it's something called Spreaker, and it's more like it's almost like Blog Talk. We were using Spreaker, um, and we ain't know, man, we ain't have an
We don't know what we
idea.
were doing. We was just putting it together. Like we
Yeah,
weren't even. Mo, we would sit there trying to figure out how to upload it and everything. Man, we
matter
were
of fact,
young in it, man.
I think I went back, right, and
Yeah,
I was listening to something, and you could hear us fumbling around, talking. I didn't even know that was upload, but it's a blessing to see growth and development of what your what where you start and where you might wind up. You
that's
get what
right.
I'm saying? So
Yeah,
praise Allah. Um, what more sense? We know that more science. Some people may disagree with what I'm about to say, and that's okay. But
right.
more science means more sense and more insight into life, right?
Wow.
So we use a specific method and process of thought, and it's higher order thinking. So that's what we're doing, and we came more sense. We said that this is where we will not just be talking. Eventually we're going to be asking Moorish Americans and calling them to action. And what
That's
we
right.
mean by calling them to action is something positive, right? Of what we can do. We have it. We need to, as Moorish Americans, stop talking about what differences we have, right? I mean, we know about the sovereignty and certain things we're not going to accept and tolerate, right? We
No.
do know that. However, people that belong to legitimate temples, individuals who legitimately want to know about nationality, what the Moorish Science Temple of America is all about. That's who we are shooting to educate. That's who we are shooting to also work with.
Right.
So in that, as periodically we do a little bit of housekeeping, and let's talk about what a call to action is. It's a strategic direction for Moorish American life. That's where more sense is going, right?
No.
We're having we have a strategic direction for Moorish American life. The plain and simple. If in fact that you want to participate in this strategic direction, we're for you. Or we praise Allah that you are with us.
Work with you,
If
right?
you are not in cahoots with a strategic direction under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, I gotta say this: kick rocks and blow bubbles.
That's your favorite saying, man.
Yeah, because I used to work in the group home, and the little boys that worked in
To
the
say
group
that,
home
yeah.
used to tell me that all the time, right?
Lots of little
It,
bubbles, right?
yeah, like praise Allah, we still love you, but
Right.
at the end of the day, we're not going to participate in counterproductive behavior. It's
No.
just not going to happen because we uh, we ain't always been this way.
Mm-mm. And we still got
And
work we're doing on ourselves, man.
yeah, we ain't always been this way.
Right.
And where we come from, we don't like take no tea for no fever, and we ain't about back and forth. That's not what we not about that. Period.
Right.
And this is not to say that
This
we
tough
serious
guys.
about
Yeah.
we serious about what we do, right? And we serious about our people. We serious about our families. Um, and we just serious about more science in general. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
So before we begin, we would like to ask everyone to keep an open mind and know that we might say something that you may disagree with or even upset you. We are not intentionally trying to achieve this goal by being disagreeable with anyone or upsetting anyone. This is not our intention. Before we move forward in this particular show or any other show or anybody that might be watching or watch later on, um, we would we would like everyone to think about what it takes to prepare your favorite meal for a moment. Everyone that is watching or who will watch, we ask the same energy that you prepare your favorite meal or whatever it is that you like to do, right? That's positive. We ask that you please use the same energy to discuss and carry out the call to action, which is a strategic direction for Moorish American life. Or while you listening to the show, if you have anything that you want to share with us, please use that same energy, right?
Right.
Um, we um we use this energy to discuss anything that we are doing and calling people to community action as we further develop, right? By this being a collaborative effort, and there are many different cooks on or watching or who will watch, we like to issue out our recipe, right? That we like to use, and we ask that you use the same thing if you're going to collaborate or work with us. We ask you to use the same recipe, right? Because
Wow.
if you don't use this recipe, now we don't have guidelines, and now that's where goofy come in, and that's not what we not doing it.
No,
Okay,
we ain't handle- yeah.
so our recipe for teamwork, right? Because we are calling people to action, and because we not about talk, we making the rubber meet the road, right? And after I get finished talking about the recipe, I'm going to talk a little bit about just a little bit about our background to show you why we're qualified for to lead strategic direction.
That's right.
Um, so this is a recipe for teamwork and success. We need each and every person who is watching or who will watch. We need a gallon of trust, right? We need 3 quarts of commitment. Okay, whether it's you commit to watch, whether it's that you commit to submit an idea, or once we start preparing the things that are coming forward, if you want to be a part of a committee or something like that, we ask for your commitment, right?
Right.
We're not saying that you have to be committed. We just
Mm-mm.
asking that you bring some commitment, and that level of commitment is dependent upon you. 5 pints of effective communication. Sometimes we just going to disagree, but we can't get goofy, name calling, and yeah, all that. That's not what we doing, right?
Mhm.
um, we don't put out ain't no big eyes and little U's. We don't put ourselves on a pedestal. We just know what we know, and we try to do what we do, right? So, 4 cups of collaboration. We know that all our ideas they need, some other energy that goes along with it, right? And vice versa. If we can give some positive energy to one of your ideas, let us help.
Right.
Um, 2 teaspoons of innovation and creativity. What we mean by that, innovation, not in the sense that we're going to make anything up, but innovation meaning that we have to use the imaginative faculty of our minds to be able to use our Allah given talent to be able to create the things that we need as Moorish Americans, right?
Right.
um, 2 tablespoons of conflict resolution. We know what happened in 1930. We know what happened in all them other years. We don't look at those years as something that we utilize to have arguments about, right?
Right.
That's not. We utilize those to learn of either what to be or what not
Not
to
to
be.
be. That's right.
We can have a civilized conversation, and as a result of that, we can move forward. If you want to stay stuck right there, but we going to demonstrate the master word, which is forward.
That's right.
Marcus Mosiah Aurelius Garvey, who was John the Baptist, who was our forerunner, he said, forwards ever, backwards never.
That's right.
Okay. So praise Allah. So we would like for you to keep in mind that the words information and communication are often used interchangeably, but they signify quite different things. Information is just giving out stuff. You
That's
just giving out stuff. You
right.
know, never taken any real time to really sit down, synthesize, and look at like what does it really mean and how can we make the rubber meet the road
Applicable.
this
Make it
this
applicable.
applicable in this era of time. Because like we say, it's a new era of time now. And the
Islam.
new era of time meaning change, man.
That's right.
So
Right.
so so communication is getting through, and we hope that we're getting through to Moorish Americans, and we hope that you see that we're serious about this particular call to action, right?
Islam.
Um, two sisters who we give high honor to, elders who are no longer, who have transitioned to the next world, who are
Mhm.
no longer in a physical form,
That's right.
but they are very much so about us, and we're going to keep some things alive that they started demonstrating.
That's right.
One is Sister we say J, Sister
That's
J.
that's
We're
right.
gonna call her name, right?
Right.
Janelle Ill, or
That's right.
English Ill, right?
Right.
She was a very good sister. She started something, and she transitioned, and we're gonna pick up where she left off.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Also, Sheikis La Aquanetta Austin Bay,
That's right.
who is who is Dr. R. German's Bay first wife,
That's
right?
right.
Um, she's transitioned to the next world, and she was doing something that was very strategic, um, and leading the Moorish Americans in a strategic direction for Moorish American life.
Mhm.
And we are going to continue to uh, pick up where she left off, and we're asking, the Moorish Americans who watch, praise Allah. That's right. May they
Right.
sail
Make
on
it sound
sea.
smooth as
That's
seas.
right,
That's
bro.
right. That's
Um,
right.
because they doing work there as
Yeah.
well as we're doing work here.
That's right.
And believe you me, they doing a greater work and assisting us. They just waiting for us to call on them.
Right.
So praise Allah for that. And we ask you to keep watching because we're gonna be calling people to action because now it's time to make the rubber meet the road.
That's right.
Islam.
Islam. Praise Allah. Praise
Praise
Allah.
Allah.
So we're focusing this evening, right? So we're dealing with manifesting the power of thought, the call to action, as you heard earlier from the Sheikh Valance Bay. The call to action, the call of action has a lot to do with one's inner nature. And what I would like us to face or to place our focus on, excuse me, this evening is beginning with the prophet's teachings, which is the soul of man. So we're just
Oh,
gonna
oh,
go,
Islam. Excuse me.
go,
Well, I apologize too.
no, go
I
ahead.
forgot to mention
Go ahead.
also
Go ahead. You good?
that our the, our strategic direction for Moorish American life is in line with our national Grand Sheikhs and the Supreme Grand Sheikh
Come on.
Clarence Prather Ills um not saying that their ideas, but what Allah has revealed to them. So
Right.
all of that culminated together. We're working together with those thoughts and ideas to manifest ultimately what some people call the divine plan of the ages, what
Right.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali revealed to us as best as we possibly can, right?
That's right.
So I forgot to mention, I misplaced the thought to mention that, but praise Allah.
No, you didn't misplace it, Sheikh. It was right on time. So yeah, praise Allah. All right. So we're dealing with the soul of man, and I'm gonna just move it, upload it real briefly. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. We're gonna be coming from various different records tonight as well. We're gonna be looking at some of the other prophets as well that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gives us on our nationality card. All right, so we're dealing with holy instructions from the Prophet, the soul of man. Praise Allah. That's chapter 38. It
Mhm.
says, Holy instructions from the prophet, the soul of man. And I'm just going to read a few verses. It says, verse 1 The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou hast a soul of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly, it is inscrutable. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, call these not the soul. They are its actions, but not its essence. And the reason I want to focus on thinking because we hear often that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is reported, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stated that if he can get us thinking, we can save ourselves. Well, when you look at thinking, Thinking aligns and parallels off with the manifestation of thought. Last
Mm,
week we focused on the power of thought. This week we're focusing on the manifestation of thought. It's not a second part series, but one thing that I stated last week, and it was a record that I came from, which was dealing with the power of thought. It stated that once you put a thought out there, or once a thought is culminated and it's put out there, it's sent to do a job, and it does its job. It actually becomes an entity of itself. So we want to
mhm,
be more mindful when we are putting out thoughts. We want our thoughts to be intentional. We want them to be purposeful. We want them to manifest what is good for ourselves as well as for our brothers and our sisters. And we ultimately want to make sure that when the thought is put out there, it's put out there with the right intention.
mhm.
Let's continue.
Oh,
All right.
mhm. Go ahead, Mo.
You got something to say? Over. Praise Allah.
No,
So
no,
let's
go
keep
ahead.
it going. And I'm go to the second portion. And then there's something else I want to share. So it says this, the prophet says, and let me move it over. Peace and love, brother. East 49. It's good to hear you. Today's your born day. Happy manifestation day. Happy Earth Day. Happy born day. Thank you for tuning in. Praise Allah. Good to see you in the chat. It says, and this is again the Soul of Man, chapter 38. It says, raise it not too high that thou be despised. Be not thou like unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it in the sense of brutes, nor be thou like to the horse and the mule, in whom there is no understanding.
Mm,
So when we're looking at the soul, when we're looking at thinking, reasoning, willing, the prophet lets us know that these are the actions, but not the essence of the soul. And one thing that we never want to get into the habit of doing on our channel, we never want to get into the habit of intellectualizing the prophet's teachings, but we want to make the teachings applicable, and we actually want to use our faculties. You know, when you go into the Moorish Science Temple of America or respective Sunday school in the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he states that we ought to use our five senses during our Sunday school. And when you look at the five senses, he's not talking about the outward senses, but we're focusing on the inward senses. And those senses deal with the deeper essence on how you get to truth. So the prophet says this in
uh-huh.
verse 5, and then I'm gonna go down. It says, "Search it by its faculties, know it by its virtues. They are more in number than the hairs of thy
Here's
head.
on my head.
The stars of heaven are not to be counted with them." And this next verse is very, it's interesting because I see often Moorish Americans, they use this verse to justify certain things they don't that we're not supposed to that is stated that we're not supposed to do as Moorish Americans. But when you read it in its truest context, the prophet is letting us know specifically how we are to not only look at the soul, but what the soul is. It has nothing to do with some of those other concepts, though. Praise Allah for those who use those concepts, but let's not take what the prophet is giving us out of context. It says, "Think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men, neither believe with the sons of Egypt that every man hath many. Know that as thy heart, so also thy soul is one." Let's keep it going. I'm gonna go down just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
a few verses at the bottom. All right, so the prophet's making reference to the soul. It says in verse 10, verse 9, she is immortal, she is unchangeable, she is alike in all. Health called her forth to show her loveliness, application anointed her with the oil of wisdom. All right, let's go down. It says in verse 12, suppose not death can shield thee from examination, think not corruption can hide thee from inquiry. He who formed thee of thou knowest not what, can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? It says, perceive not the cock the hour of midnight, exalted he not his voice to tell thee it is morning. Know if not the dog the footsteps of his master, flee if not the wounded goat unto the herb that healeth him. Yet when these die, their spirit returneth to dust, thou alone survivor. All right. So the
Mm-hmm.
manifestation, we're gonna get into the manifestation of thought. It says, envy not these their senses, because quicker than thy own. Learn that thou advantage lieth not in the possessing good things, but in the knowing to use them. So we have to know how, well, first of all, know the power that we have within to manifest specific thoughts, pure thoughts, good thoughts. And the reason why we have to know these things is because the thoughts that we manifest have an effect not only on our inner nature, but our outer nature as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when your thoughts are off course or when they're off alignment, it can have a direct effect on not only your body, your physical body, but also your health, your mental health, and your well being as well. So let's go here, and then I'm going to pass it over to you, Sheep.
Okay.
All right. So this is coming again from the book from Richard Allen, As a Man Thinketh. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Let me zoom in so that everyone can see it. All right. I'm going to go down. Go over. All right. So effects on the thought, effect of thought on health and body. And of course, you see I've been making some notes. It says the body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. So yes, we want to be mindful of what we put in our mouths, what we eat, etc. We want to be mindful of what we put in our ears, what we think. I mean, what we're hearing, what we're constantly putting in our minds, what we're constantly seeing, etc. But all of that actually starts with the thought. So you want to be mindful of that. It says sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body, and we see that happening in society now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It states this. It says, thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people just as surely, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. I'll read that again. It says, the people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the body and lays it open to the creatures of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will soon shatter the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body with vigor and grace. So we know about vigor and proportion. The prophet teaches us that in the Holy Quran. It says the body is as delicate and plastic instrument as a plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed. And habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it. Men will continue to have impure thoughts. Men will continue to have impure and poison blood so long as they propagate unclean thoughts.
Mm.
Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. And I'll stop right there because the other part's cut off. But I want to, place emphasis on that portion in regards to poison, because when you think negatively or when you're tending to do harm, and that's right, Sheikah Sabrina, right, babe, we draw what we vibrate through thought. We attract what we are thinking about, so if we are putting out things, and I'm talking about specifically myself right now, if I'm thinking about worry or doubt, or if I'm working on confusion or whatever the case may be, you know that's going to be the manifestation of my life in that point in time. And if it doesn't manifest itself in that point in time, it's going to manifest itself eventually, and that's really like common as well. But when you're focusing specifically on thought, the effects it has on your body, the effects it has on your health, etc., you want to be really careful about what you put out there and what you project or what you attempt to project on others, because really it has what we call the boomerang effect that's
Mm-hmm.
going to swing back on you, or the pendulum effect. It has the pendulum effect. And I'm done with
Praise
that. I'm done with that.
God.
That's all.
And the reason I'm laughing, right,
Yeah.
because is an elder and he's transitioned to the next world as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear him so clearly. Used to talk to him, and he say, and I'm talking about Honorary Supreme Grand Sheik Ronald Thornhill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I used to talk to him, and he said, Melvin, he said, when people blame you for things, or you blaming people for things, and you pointing the finger at them, he says three fingers pointing back
Right.
at
Right.
you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, so you know, watch how we think. You get what I'm saying? Because um, a lot of times when we're not even aware of it, remember this: we sitting in the we sitting in meetings after meeting. At least, I mean, I know we are.
Yeah,
Because I
and I'm
speak.
pretty sure those who are listening do too.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna
So
spite somebody.
right. So we not trying, but the lower self is right there in them same meetings that you in.
That's right.
So the lessons that you learn in the lower self learning them things too. And so how the lower self came at you 3 hours ago ain't gonna come at you after the show over with. The lower self ain't gonna come at you in the same way that he could, or the lower self could have came 3 hours before, right? So
That's right.
that's a that's a that's powerful, you know.
She,
So
Clarence Pray, they'll say also be mindful that once the thought has damaged the body, the effects is long term and healing and will feed off of other bad thoughts as life goes on. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
very
cancer.
true. It's
It's like
cancer. Yeah, it's like a cancer. That's right.
yeah, man,
It
it's
is.
and we praise Allah for Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right, for revealing these things to us. And you know, it's a lot of lessons and words that Moors or Moorish Americans throw around lightly, right?
Mm.
I won't mention them now, right?
Yeah,
Because you know, like we teaching, we not, once again, I gotta continuously, we not talking about nobody
we're browbeaten.
or browbeating anybody. We just
No,
making reference
right.
so that people can be aware, and hopefully we're bringing your level of awareness up. That's right. Sheik is right, baby. It's
What it
Mac.
is. That's what it is.
You know, and man, so basically, if you think wrong, and it's going to start a cycle of continuously, and you're going to draw those things, negative things to you.
That's
Or
right.
it could be that you thinking wrong, and it really could be good situations, right? And because you're thinking wrong, your
Mm.
mindset is going to see a good thing as being negative, if
Right.
that makes sense.
That's right.
And really, that's the best thing for you.
That's
But
right.
you know, people, I mean, man, it could go so many different ways, right?
Right.
But the prophet talks somewhere in the Quran, he talks about the true economy of human life, right? And so
With
interestingly,
religion.
in religion,
Right.
right?
With religion. That's right.
So people misunderstand what religion is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they misunderstand what religion is because of the fact that you have all types of people who have had bad thoughts and propagated religion in the ill manner, right? But what we understand, or I want to talk about economy, because it don't just have to do with money, right?
No.
And this lesson comes from John the Baptist, our forerunner, Marcus Garvey, right?
Right.
And he talks about there are several kinds of economy, but this subject deals specifically with financial economy, right? So we got to get our mindsets right, so that we can think and utilize our finances better than what we have used them in the past.
That's right.
And I'm speaking to myself as well. You get what I'm saying? um, Economy is based upon good, sane judgment. The practice of it is that you must always be on the safe side of your bargainings or your dealings. Never exhaust yourself. Always have a reserve, right? And also, this goes into our thought process as well,
Mm.
right? We always have to have a reserve of our thought process,
Right.
and we can't work harder than other people who we're trying to help. We can't work harder than them.
That's
They
right.
have to be willing and able to work along with you. And once you see that they're not trying to work along with you, you have to cut it off. And what I mean by cut it off, you got to back up just a tad bit and keep some of that reserve for yourself so that you can keep going.
That's right.
Islam.
Islam.
So, there should always be something left over that you may fall back on in times of need. Money is 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 the prop of life. In in that it pays for all necessities and offers securities for all opportunities. In earning money, one should never spend as much money as he or she earns.
That's
This
true.
is bad business.
That's right.
So, in the thought process, right? In the thought process as well, you know, we shouldn't and using titles that we know we haven't obtained.
Right.
You understand? Because that's bad economy as well. Okay,
Confused. That's right.
and it's confusion. So basically, we with the reason that I read economy is because now we have to start working towards some type of balance, right, in our economic life, whether it be mentally, whether it be spiritually, whether it be financially, because what we've seen in the past at least 10 years, we've seen individuals on holding the Moorish flag, or what they would say that they are representing the Moorish Science Temple of America, holding in our windows, yelling at police officers, um, you
Getting
know,
people hurt.
various other things that people have been doing that has kind of put a somewhat of a bad light on, or what it would appear to be a bad light on Moorish Americans, right? And now we have to do the things that's necessary for us to become, um, or let people know exactly what we are about, what it is that we're doing. And this comes with not airing our dirty laundry and our differences on Facebook and all these other things. If we are Moorish Americans, we have principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, right?
That's right.
If we have problems with one another, we should be able or reach out to one another and to be able to solve our problems. And there's a place to do that. So, we ask people to stop doing that. Now, we can't make people do it, or we just ask you to stop, right? We ask you
Right.
because it's given all of us. Because when people see a turban in the feds, they can't make the distinction, especially if they not in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? So, we ask that you stop doing it, because we need to show ourselves in a better light, and that's why I read about economy, making sure that when we represent the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we're neat, we're clean,
That's right.
we not um we're dressed appropriately, and we're not misrepresenting, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And Marcus Garvey in this book, Message to the People, he said if you had one suit,
Yeah.
or
Keep it clean.
keep it clean.
Keep it
Just,
clean,
I'm
man. If
not
you only
saying
got
you gotta
one.
go out and buy all these,
Yeah.
fine wares and stuff like that.
Look
Shucks.
good. Look nice.
If you gotta go to the thrift store, I mean, I know I used to, right? I go and I get my little white shirt, make sure I keep it clean, and my little khakis and my my dress socks, and be prepared to do what it is that needs to be done. Islam or so.
No.
Um, praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Hmm.
Islam. So it's a good point you raised, Sheik. You raised a point in regards to, just, I guess we call it like a meeting of the minds, being able to work together to agree and respectfully disagree. And a lot of that has to do with one word, and the word is diplomacy, right? And yeah, I agree, Sheik, right there, restore souls. So in the same record that you just had, there's no strange happenings.
Okay.
The bracket is, for those who want to know, is Marcus Garvey's Message to the People, the course on African philosophy. Looks like this. The previous chapter, the chapter before chapter 10, which you just read, Sheik, is
Hmm.
diplomacy. I want to read a few portions because,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we have the ability to be diplomats. And we're not talking about in the sense of anything pertaining to what people know as a sovereign citizen movement. So let's throw that thought out there. We're not
Right.
focusing on that. When
Right.
we say diplomats, we're talking about being able to meet our brothers and sisters at their level of need, being able to meet other individuals on society, regardless of their race and or nationality, at their level of understanding, and to come to some sort of understanding between each other. It
That's
says
right.
diplomacy is a word, and I'm in chapter 9 for those who have a record. And if you don't have a record, just let us know. We'll send you a copy of what I'm reading right now. We'll send it to you if you send it. I mean, if you want it via email. Our email address is www.moorsensemedia@gmail.com. It says, diplomacy is a word used to express the peculiar relationship between nations. So the Prophet Noble Dry Lee, did he not make us a nation sheep?
Yeah, absolutely, he did.
All right, praise Allah. So we should be demonstrating diplomacy. It says diplomacy is the relationship that nations use to conduct their communications or approach in dealing with matters of the state and to the effect the relationship of a certain nature between them. So the forerunner just summed up pretty much what I said before I got stuck.
Mhm.
I began reading.
Praise Allah.
It says, in the broadest sense, diplomacy means the thoughtful and careful consideration of words and ideas expressed to reduce the words and ideas to the level of being the least offensive while they carry the force of what is desired to the maximum. So, consideration, being thoughtful, the meaning and power of manifesting thought, being careful of our words and our ideas.
Hmm.
But the prophet says works, words, and deeds. So, being careful of our works, because guess what? The same way we have the ability to do a good work, we have the ability to do not so good works. And if we
That's
if
right.
we manifest something and is not so good, even though we may have the intent to hurt and harm others, or it may be our intent in our lower nature, our lower self to hurt and harm others, right? That's really going to hurt it's really going to hurt us.
Yeah,
Our
that's right.
words, of course, we know, we hear when people make reference to words to speak truth to power. But if you're putting words out there that are slanderous or misleading or false, whatever the case may be, then you're really doing a hurt, you're doing a pain or an injury to someone else. And in deeds, as Muslims, we are to manifest um, what is good through our deeds to our fellow brothers and sisters, all of humanity and mankind in general. Islam.
Islamism.
It says to be a diplomat, one has to be very careful in his expression before indulging them. He must think seriously and calculating so that his thoughts and words may have the desired effect without arousing suspicion or averting hostility. It says, and I'm on page 76, it says, a diplomat never talks before he thinks. He thinks an idea over several times before he expresses it. So somewhere I read the prophet says to think it over again and again. When you think about quitting the Moorish Science Temple of America, when you thinking to yourself, man, I can't deal with these Moorish Americans because they off the thinker. And this person getting, I'm just being leveling off, Mo.
Yeah, Mo. I mean,
Because we, you and I, we brought
all of everybody has been there, so
temple,
don't try to act like
we
you
get,
ain't
we
been
grind your gears, man. You'd be like, you know what? But
there.
you really got to think it over. If you're a diplomat, you want to think it over and say, wait a minute, I didn't commit to the organization for my selfish self or even
Right.
to my brothers and sisters. No offense, I'm here to help. But I really committed to, number one, uplifting myself, uplifting those around me, being the message that I bring, but
Mhm.
also to do the work that the Prophet Noble Ali has, has given to us to do by the will of Allah. Islam.
Islam, and
Mo,
I'm
you
only,
laugh, you
I'm
laughing too
laughing,
hard
right?
over there, man. But it's
I'm
true though.
laughing because listen, I'm thinking like if we think like that, right, and
Right.
we know that the prophet is a prophet, but also we know that he's a man, right?
That's right,
So
man.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I'm thinking and I'm laughing because I'm like, man, I can imagine what the
You
prophet
probably was fed up, man.
he said, man, these Asiatics, man, I'm
Right,
trying
they
to get them
tripping.
together. I'm trying to I'm so that's why I was laughing
Right.
because
You
I'm
thinking
like, if
about the
we feel
prophet.
like that, imagine how I mean the prophet and therefore all other prophets who came, right,
Right,
that were
man.
trying to galvanize and get the people together to
Right.
do what was right,
Right.
So praise Allah,
Praise
moment
Allah.
of humor, so to speak.
It says the idea that he must not be found wanting or on the wrong side of any question. If it is found that he's on the wrong side, his efforts at diplomacy fail. He must be able to read other people's minds and intentions and use that knowledge to safeguard and protect himself and the interests he represents.
Mm,
So, you have to safeguard your mind. You have to look at the interests of others. The Prophet Noble Drali, he gives it to us almost in the same format of the Forerunner. And the chapter that stands out to me when I look at that, from the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the chapter that stands out to me specifically is the Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the rich and the poor.
what you
Because in the
know.
rich and the poor, when you look at it, the individual who Allah had blessed and Allah had given specific skills and talents, that individual used their talents for the benefit of those who were around them. And it
Mhm.
also makes me think about master and servant as well as magistrate and subject.
Mhm.
Pass it back to you, Sheik.
Yeah. So praise Allah
Praise
because
Allah.
this when you talk about Sister Janelle English here, she was a master at diplomacy,
That's right.
right? She actually was able to galvanize and get um some people together to create a strategic direction for Moorish American life,
That's
right?
right.
And we're going to actually keep up with that, right? Where we will have some things and some strategic direction that we're going to be moving in, and we're going to ask for support from our listening audience to be able to help us do this. Because right now, as a nation, either people don't know about the Moorish Americans, or people, like I said earlier, look at us like we're some type of it's
Rogue group.
a rogue group, when
Right.
that's not so, right?
Not at
we
all.
we look at the work that the elders have done, and for whatever reason it's not been mentioned, forgotten, or whatever the case may be. you
Mm.
know we need to continue to still work towards it. And as I was saying, you yourself, she you know you um taught for a number amount of years in the public school system, right?
Right.
Not only have you taught, you've also been an administrator, and while being an administrator, you have also learned things about
Intelligence.
emotional intelligence. But
Mm.
not only that, you have learned how to work with people who are emotionally disturbed,
It's
right?
true.
Which simply means that that deals with mental health issues.
That's right.
Okay, so um and also you are in have entered ministry in the temple.
Islam.
So, and you also have a family, right?
Right.
And you are the message that you bring or whatever.
Thank you, Sheik.
So on a flip side, I have worked with individuals in the mental health field who have been emotionally disturbed. You're talking about substance abuse, severe mental health, from schizophrenia, um, oh yeah, praise
Yeah,
Allah.
that's right. Sister
Deborah Hill,
Deborah Hill
working
of
with that,
Richmond.
working with, yes, that's right.
That's
Praise
right.
Allah. Um, Working with people with mental health issues. Also dealing with community development, right? Um, Before we can become a nation, we know we deal with the individual first. You deal with your individual self.
Right.
Then from your individual self comes a family, and then from family comes a community, or if you will, a neighborhood,
Right.
and then from a neighborhood uh, comes, if you will, a tribe, and from a tribe then comes a nation, okay,
Islam.
or city, town, or state, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
All that to say is now we're moving in that strategic direction, right? Um, and this doesn't come. I went to school for community development.
Right.
Um, I graduated from undergrad in 2005.
Mhm.
So um, I learned about community development and what it takes to create a community. And this is not an idea. It goes back to 2005 where I learned some of these particular things. And with that, you just need, like we said, we need people to come together. And when we are talking about a community, we're not necessarily it if it grows into a point to where as though we can create a community where we are living all together. Praise Allah.
Yeah. Right.
Let the truth be told, the Moorish Science Temple of America is in Arabic terms and Ummah, which is
Right.
mean a community. So that's what we're talking about, creating a community where, because we have principles, we have a divine constitution and bylaws. We read the same record, okay.
Say the same
Um,
prayer.
we say the same prayer. We have, for the most part, we meet on the same days,
Right.
right? Um, we have, for the most part, the same prayer times,
That's right.
right? Um, we a number of other things that we have a whole lot of commonalities alike, and now we need to build on those particular things and bring something positive
It's a
about it.
direction. That's
So
right.
that's
That's
what
right.
this call to action is for, right? And once again, if you're not bringing the best that's within inside of you, then you can watch from the sidelines, because we're going to be productive and not counterproductive. So
Exactly.
yeah, praise Allah. And I want to read the mission statement of um what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because we know that the a mission statement is a brief description of a an organization or company's fundamental purpose. It answers the question, why does our organization exist? The mission statement articulates the organization's or the company's purpose, both for the purpose for excuse me, both for those in the organization and for the public. Upon further investigation of our prophet's writings, we discovered in several places where the prophet indicates and articulates our mission and outline four specific goals of the organization. Um, and it's also connected to help us reach the organization's ultimate goal, which is called, or some people call it, the divine plan of the ages, right?
Right. Right. I read it.
And what I've come to the realization of, even though the prophet left and outlined these particular things, this might look different to different people in different ways
Right.
according to their nature. And when I'm talking about their nature, I'm a Sagittarius, you're a Gemini.
Right. I know where you're
So
going.
when we read certain things, some things that you as a Gemini are going to pull out of a record might not be what me as a Sagittarius is going to
Right.
pull out. But when we come together and have a positive conversation about it, now what happens is we learn from one another.
That's right.
Okay, so um, in the Moorish literature, the Moorish leader's historical message to America, the third paragraph, whatever copy of the Moorish literature that you have,
Hmm.
the organization is to help in a great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens.
That's right.
Um, in order to do this, we as an organization must meet a person at the very core. Just like when we came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, we were met at the very core
The
of
base.
what
That's
it was,
right. Of where we were.
of where we were. And praise Allah for Sheik is right, Bay, from Lock Life, saying air and fire. So
Right.
those two elements working together,
Right.
right?
That's right.
And they working in harmony, because in this point the air is blowing on the fire just
Hmm.
to make the fire. You seen how them old, when a fire start, right? And
Right.
and they used to have that little thing they put, I forget what it's called,
Right.
and it would kindle, it would help keep the fire kindled. So you air and I'm fire, right?
Right.
And so praise Allah, Mo.
That's right.
That's a blessing.
Yes, it
So
is.
so it says we know that we know that is to reach a person's spirit. However, before we can reach the spirit, we have to help a person meet some very other basic needs.
Hmm.
Upon investigation and research, we happen to come across an article reported to come from the Moorish guide. The prophet articulated the goals of the organization. He outlined the four goals. And in previous shows, we read those goals,
That's
and
right.
we'll go over it again. But this is the strategic direction for Moorish American life that we're going in. And we just we asking, we not begging, we just asking you that, if you want to see if you want to see a change in the Moorish world, be the change you want to see.
That's
And we're
right.
asking that, you help us help you, and you help us. I mean, you help yourself, and let us help you help yourself as well. So praise Allah. Islam.
Islam. Praise Allah. And as we're coming to a concluding portion of it, I wanted to, and that was a great point you raised, Sheik, in regards to, helping each other out. And the word that sticks out to me is compassion, but it deals with the issue of trust as well.
Hmm.
We gotta be compassionate for us amongst ourselves, or to ourselves, excuse me. And then we
Hmm.
also have to be trusting of ourselves, trusting of our innate abilities or our given talents. As the Grand Sheik is Betty Prather Ill often states, our
Hmm.
Allah given talents, everything that we have within ourselves, that we possess within ourselves, to manifest and bring it to fruition, right? And it all starts again with a thought. So we know and understand in the Moorish Science Temple of America, the prophet teaches us that we give honest to all true and divine prophets, and it's always for a specific reason. He didn't just put Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius on our nationality cards, but the prophet I want to focus on specifically for my last portion is Prophet Buddha, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Dealing with Prophet Buddha, we want to deal with thought, and I'm gonna maximize this in a minute. But Prophet Buddha, when you look at what he implemented or demonstrated in real time, we're dealing with the Four Noble Truths. And
Hmm.
when you look at the Four Noble Truths, it states that, first of all, you're dealing with the existence of unhappiness, and unhappiness is caused by selfish craving. And, the prophet gives us the word desire, which parallels off with craving. It
Hmm.
says selfish craving can be destroyed, but how does it get destroyed? It gets destroyed by doing what? Number one, studying and examining yourself, but also training your mind or disciplining your mind to take away those specific desires, or to put those desires into what we call moderation or the quelling. It states this, it says, it can be destroyed by the Eightfold Path. And I'm going to get into thought in a minute. But the steps of the Eightfold Path, according to Prophet Buddha, is right understanding, right purpose, also meaning aspiration, which means actually bringing out or invoking what it is that you want to put out there.
Hmm.
Aspiration parallels off with the word breath. And when you look at holy breath, holy breath is a form of aspiration because it deals with truth. If you're demonstrating holy breath, if you're demonstrating the truth, then nothing that you say out of your mouth is going to be false, misleading, hurtful, deceiving, or anything of that nature. So yeah, we can demonstrate all day, but what
Hmm.
we want to demonstrate from the aspect of holy breath, because we're dealing with truth. It
Which is
says
living.
that's
Which is
right.
living.
You live in it. It says right speech, right conduct, right vocation, right effort, right alertness, and right concentration. Now let's get into the aspect of thought. I'm gonna maximize it for everyone. And if anyone has any questions about anything I just said or anything that we've gone over this evening thus far, please put it in the comments. All right. So this is coming from a record. The record is called The Compassionate Buddha. And as you can see, it's kind of wear and tear. It's crazy. I got this record, Mo. I got stories for days. I got this record when I my first year teaching in Baltimore City Public Schools.
Hmm.
School that, teachers, we come out and your budget very low. So you go
Hmm.
into different places trying to find books to put in your library. And she we have a spot here in Baltimore called the Book Thing, where you can get
Okay.
free books.
Hmm.
And the Book Thing had all these different books. It had books on thought, on the mind, on breathing,
Law books, all types of stuff.
all types of books. And these are free books, but praise a lot for the Book Thing. But this was one of the books that I grabbed, and it's chapter 3. It says thought. It says, "As a Fletcher makes straight his arrow, a wise man makes straight his trembling, unsteady thought, which is difficult to guard, difficult to hold back. As a fish taken from his watery home and thrown on dry ground, our thought trembles all over in order to escape the dominion of the Mara, the tempter." And we know about the tempter as well. The
Hmm.
tempter is mentioned in the Holy Quran.
That's
It
right.
states, "It is good to tame the mind, which is difficult to hold in and flighty. Rushing wherever it lists, a tame mind brings happiness. Let the wise man guard his thoughts, for they are difficult to perceive, very subtle, and they rush wherever they list. Thoughts well guarded bring happiness. So if we guard our thoughts, we have the ability to manifest the power of thoughts, which are going to be good and loving thoughts. It says, those who brittle their mind, which travels far. So when your thoughts are racing from this place and this place, moves about alone, is incorporeal and hides in the chamber of the heart,
Hmm.
will be free from the bonds of Mara. That's the temple. If a man's faith is unsteady, if he does not know the true law, if his peace of mind is troubled, his knowledge will never be perfect. So we talked about information,
Mm-hmm.
earlier. Information is
Mm-hmm.
good, it's great. We're presenting information right now, but if you know and understand anything, and what you see right here, certain points, things I've shared, I've highlighted or I've underlined them because these are different points and components, not that I only teach from, but I also have learned how to make a part of every part of me. In this book, like I said, I had almost a decade now. But these are certain things that you look at and you say, "Well, wow, man, I really got to be on guard about when it comes to these
Mm-hmm.
things." It says,
Mm-hmm.
"If a man's thoughts are not scattered, if his mind is not perplexed, if he has ceased to think good or evil, then there is no fear for him while he is watchful, knowing that the body is fragile like a jar, and making his thought firm like a fortress, one should attack Mara, the tempter, with the weapon of knowledge. One should watch him when conquered, and should never rest. Before at last the body will lie on the earth, despised, without awareness, like a useless log. Whatever a hater may do to a hater, or an enemy to an enemy, a wrongly directed mind will do us greater mischief."
Mm.
So, the prophet teaches us, Mo, and I love that part because it confirms what the prophet teaches us. The prophet says that you may learn to love instead of hate. So learning is a lifetime job. It is a lifetime
Lifetime job.
task. It's something that we just don't pick up one day and do. You have to learn. But if you're a hater, you're gonna do it. Whatever a hater may do to a hater, he's gonna do to himself. And whatever an enemy does, he's gonna do to himself. Well, I have
That's
no
right.
enemies, and anybody that's hating, praise a lot for them, because guess what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as I stated in the beginning of the program, and it's not again, this program is dealing with manifestation of thought. So anything anybody might be thinking, get it out your mind. But I have to be sure and mindful to that whatever thought I may project is going to have an effect not only on that individual but on myself.
And, and Mo, you just hit a serious degree that now that I taught on a few years ago, right?
Hmm.
And I discovered it when in reading some things, and here it is. Now it had nothing to do with Buddhism, right?
Right.
And it was something that the prophet the prophet say, where's the nearest place we can meet Allah?
In the heart.
Well, it don't say that specifically, but we know
Oh,
he's making reference to Allah.
in the heart. Right. Yeah.
Where's the nearest place we can meet him?
Yeah.
In the
Right.
heart.
That's right.
So you just said the chamber in the chamber of the heart.
All right, so it says those who brittle their mind, which travels far, moves about alone, is incorporeal, and hides in the chamber of the heart, will be free from the bonds of Matra, the tempter. Yep,
Mm.
the chamber.
And you know that there's something we know when the prophet is making reference to the heart. And we'll demonstrate this in later shows because something else that you said that brought memory to aid, so we can few teach on about those senses that we was talking about, right?
Right.
But here it is. We have confirmation from the prophet teaches it, and here it is that I find something years ago somewhere about the secret chamber of the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here it is in Buddhism that or some teachings from Buddha, you're talking about um as a chamber of the heart, right? That just lets me know that man, Allah leading on and victory is
Sure.
victory is sure,
Right.
right? And when you underline stuff and you that means you investigate it and you spend time with pondering on what does that mean? How does this going to manifest in my life? Or and this is what we should do with the Quran,
Right.
right?
Right.
We should be looking at how what the prophet said, how is this aspect manifesting in my life, or how or how is my behavior not in line with this, or how can I put my behavior in line with this particular degree.
That's right.
So praise, man, praise Allah, man. And this is what we do for one another. We each one teach one, right?
Islam.
uh, and we have to have that trust and confidence not only in ourselves but one another, because it's each one teach one. It's not that any of us know more than one thing. We
Mhm.
learn from one another. You have a portion and I have a portion.
Right.
And when we put that portion together, that's still not the whole portion, because there are other people who come and add theirs. And this is, what and what I know, and that's just what it is. And we can learn from one another. So,
That's right.
and that's what they call in for all those people who like to study Egyptology, the
Right.
144 laws of Ma'at, reciprocity.
Right.
That's one of the laws. You see what I'm saying? So
That's right.
praise Allah, Mo. Praise Allah.
Islam.
It's,
Praise Allah.
yeah.
Islam. So we're coming to the conclusion of our program. If anybody has any questions about anything that we've gone over, again, you could reach us at moresensemedia@gmail.com.
Hmm.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Moorish Sense Channel, as well as Moorish Sense Media. You can also subscribe to the Moorish Sense Channel on YouTube. We want to thank all of those who have subscribed, those who have been tuning in to the program. We have some great episodes coming up. We have a few interviews coming up.
Hmm.
A few acknowledged elders are going to be coming onto the program to teach specific aspects on the mind, on energy, on manifestation,
Hmm.
and things of that nature as well, to enhance the program. And if you would like to appear on the program, again, reach out to us on More Sense Media. Our brother Skid Bay, we want to thank you for coming in, for always, supporting the program. We're going to continue to maintain the integrity of the program. If there's a topic that you would like us to focus on, again, we don't deal with controversial topics, but we can expound on them. We can give give what we know on them. But
Hmm.
if there's a specific topic dealing with self or dealing with improving of oneself, um, we definitely help me out, sheep. We're definitely willing to pull
Yeah,
into
we willing to. Yeah, because ultimately, that's what it's all about, right?
right, right,
Because one of the because it's not the main thing, but one of the main things is know thyself,
right.
right? And know thyself is
That's a topic
it,
we're gonna hit on, man.
oh man,
We're
because
gonna get into that.
we can go. I mean, hey, they talked about that all the temples all over
All
the
throughout,
world, and
right,
it was called temples when you really get in. So that man, the prophet man is man, it's a blessing.
okay,
Uh,
that's a good one. We can do that one. How to
okay,
combat fear and self doubt.
okay. Well,
I'm
praise
gonna put that
Allah.
one down. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that one. We're
yeah,
gonna cover that one for you. That's not a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, matter of fact, we'll do that because guess what? We all experience it,
Man.
and we'll say because I was great hit something, but we'll say but we'll get into it, because that's that is one of our major plights right there,
Right, man.
because we fear what we can become, right, and we doubt what can become. It's not that we doubt we can't do it, it's the greatness of what we see,
Mm.
and that sometimes hinders us from making a move, right? But that's a part of the human condition, and we gonna get into it. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. So if you're in the Baltimore metropolitan area, we want to invite you out. We want to invite you out to the Moorish Science Temple of America, located at 1055 North Milton Avenue. That's here again in Baltimore, Maryland. 212 zip code 21205. I had to think for a minute. That's my neighboring zip code. Our meetings are held on Fridays from 8 to 10 and on Sundays from 12 to 2. I'm a Sunday school instructor for 1055 North Milton Avenue, and Sheik Valines Bay is the assistant grand sheik of 1055 North Milton Avenue as well. Come on out. Temple is a family oriented temple. We invite you out. We have a children's Sunday school instructor as well, which is actually my wife. So, come on out, and we also would like to invite you out to our sister temple located in West Baltimore. That's 2900 Pressman Street. That's temple number 13-2 under the leadership of Grand Sheik Eric Thompson Bay. And their meeting times are the same time, 12 to 2, 8 to 10 on Fridays, my apologies, and 12 to 2 on Sundays. That's 2900 Pressman Street. They still may be located at 2023 North Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's
Yeah, because
Noble Dry Lee Center.
renovations. Yeah,
Yeah, Noble
renovations.
Dry Lee Center in Baltimore. That's West North Avenue. I also wanted to let you know about some other temples as well. You have Temple number 27 in Atlanta, Georgia, under the leadership of Grand Sheik Charles Brownell. Also, you have Temple number 39, which we affectionately call Bethlehem, under the leadership of Grand Sheik, and Grand Sheik is Nasir Mayadil, and Grand Sheik is Hope Mayadil. You also have Temple 11-1 under the leadership of Grand Sheik Victor Lewis Hill. You also have our temples, two temples in New York City. I mean,
Hmm.
New York State, my apologies. And that's under the leadership in Troy, New York, under the leadership of Grand Sheik Emmanuel Dr. Hill
That's
and
right.
Grand Sheik William Garrison Bay. You also have our other sister temples here in Baltimore. You have the temple number 13 dash, I think that dash one as well.
Yeah,
Um,
dash one.
dash one, that's right. Under the leadership of Supreme Grand Sheik John Lomax Bay, and that's located in Bel Air Road. That's in East Baltimore. And you also have the Moorish Sense Temple of America Temple 13-1 as well. That's under the leadership of the Supreme Grand Sheik Daryl Johnson Bay. And that address is 4413 Park Heights Avenue at the corner of Park Heights and Oakford. That meeting hours at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Sundays.
Hmm.
Again, Sunday school, open forum.
Praise Allah.
And anything I missed anything, Sheik? I don't think I missed anything.
No. I just keep. Every time you say an address or the temple, I keep
I get those
missing some
addresses,
thought.
man.
Yeah, to get the addresses because
Yeah,
we be throwing them out there, but we don't have
I got
addresses. We'll make sure that we get those addresses um to everybody and praise Allah for tuning in and
one more thing. Yeah,
mhm.
so at the end of the month, if you're in Baltimore, we are going out as we do
Oh
annually.
yeah, yeah.
It's under the well, everybody chips in, but I want to give a special shout out to my brother, Sheik Mark Rogers Bay, as well
Praise
as
Allah.
resurrected Deirdre Bowenhill as well, because they've done a great job of maintaining it. And also Sheik is Karen Johnson Bay. I can't
Oh yeah, yeah, yes,
Karen
yes.
Johnson Bay. I got to give her a shout out as well, because those three have been a force to be reckoned with in the temple by allowing us to have the opportunity to go out into the community throughout the city of Baltimore and feed those who are in need, and to give, just to give, just to give. Um, yeah, we got the Moorish Light Blog Talk radio show. That's with Sheikah Seabreeze Bay. That's on Tuesdays at 6:30, and you also have History and Law. Thank you, Sheik Clarence Prathiel. That is, what time is that, Sheik? 10:45. I think 10:45 to 11:30. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta get the exact time for that. I'm not real
But I
sure.
do know the Moorish Light is at 6:30. So tune in to the Moorish Light. That's with Sheikah Seabreeze Bay and also Timothy Roscoe Johnson Bay. And bring your questions. That's history, and that's the Moorish Light. They deal with the various different aspects of history and law pertaining to you know history and law. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Anything else?
Oh, July 18th.
Okay,
Everybody can't come, right?
right.
But
No, wait. Shout out to
unfortunately,
you, man.
we would love we would love for everybody to come, but
Right,
uh, funds just won't allow it. July 18th, 2024.
right,
Sheik is right Bay and myself will be getting obligated.
right. Praise
Uh,
Allah.
yeah, for all those in an intimate setting, who we personally know, who we can invite, we will most likely probably be doing something via Zoom Everybody, the invitations have been sent out, and praise Allah. Man is behalf and woman is behalf, and when they come together, we make the supreme symbol, right? So praise Allah for that.
We got an Ancient Forefathers Day.
Ancient
That's coming up.
Forefathers Day coming up.
Ancient
Um,
Forefathers Day. And that's
Moorish Mother's Day is actually coming too, but it's
Mother's Day too.
yeah. So that we got the convention.
There's a lot going on, man.
Man, a lot. Yeah, yeah. So praise Allah.
Hey, look. Brother Skibbe, we already on that one. He said book list will be good for each. So yeah, we actually going to do a segment specifically on recommended books. That's the segment we're going to do. Certain books
Mhm.
that we recommend just to have in
In
your
your
library
library.
in your library. So
Cause, cause
we have that coming up too. Trust and believe. Sheik and I, we sit down and brainstorm. Say, Mo, what about this one? So we have that coming up as well. And you heard it first here on the Moorish Sense Channel. You heard it
right,
first.
2 hours in an up to date library,
That's right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and and people, man, you can create a library in Baltimore. We have a public library, right,
Right.
which is called Enoch Pratt Library.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you don't have to have a lot of books, but you can create a library better than Enoch Pratt Library. And
I
Enoch
bear
Pratt
witness to
Library
that.
got the
I bear
thousands.
witness.
And the ultimate library of all libraries, our father used to hang in there, which is the
Right.
Library of Congress, right?
Right.
So praise Allah. So we're brother ask here, babe. We'll do, actually we'll do a couple episodes on just stuff like that. And of course, unfortunately, we can't give out everything, but
We
we'll
will
we'll
yeah, we
we'll,
give
we'll give you a good we'll give you some good stuff to look into.
and we're not withholding information. Let's
Yeah,
clear.
no.
You know
It
what I'm saying?
it's
We ain't
just that,
withholding, we ain't gatekeeping, we ain't doing none of that.
yeah, what we do is we like to make sense of what it is that we're doing.
That's right.
Right. So we don't want to give you something and it's not in a working order of bringing about an understanding. So
Right.
yeah, praise Allah.
Praise
Islam.
Allah. Islam. So we're gonna end and conclude off and sign off with the Moorish American prayer. And we want to thank you all for coming to view our channel. You can definitely look at the playbacks if this is your first time. We are on YouTube. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Islam.
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 Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my God,
my God,
and my salvation
and my salvation.
by night
By night
and by day,
and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
through Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Praise Allah.
Praise
Praise Allah.
Allah.
Tune in next time.
That's right. Same Moorish time, same Moorish channel.
That's right.
Islam.
Islam.